Hello YouTube frogs, and welcome back to a shorter video, hopefully, theoretically, maybe, possibly, we'll see. We just got announced like a couple hours ago, and this is May 16th right now, but it was announced like May 15th NA time, like evening. So Eula Banner and also the Weapon Banner have both been released, so I just want to go over my thoughts. Is it worth your Primos? If you guys are looking towards pulling, whether your FTP budget or whatever the fuck, right, is it worth your Primos to pull on this banner? So starting with the character banner, we obviously have Eula, but along with Eula, we have Waterboy and two other Claymore users, Xingyan, Beidou, and Xingqiu. With how Abyss currently is, if you only care about certain characters that you want to pull, go for it. For example, if you want to max out Xingyan C6, or you want one Xingyan copy, or you're a collector, then you go with whatever, right? You collect Xingyan, collect Beidou, collect Xingqiu, and possibly grab a Eula. Besides that, though, for my current recommendations for Abyss, these units, I haven't really been recommending at all, mostly. I don't think I've ever really recommended Beidou, unless you're running a Tartag Fireworks comp, right? Xingyan is based on whether or not you decide to play her. I think her cooldowns might be a little bit too long for floor 11. I think for floor 12, she's all right. Right, she can totally be used. She's a hybrid physical pyro damage dealer, but nothing to write home about. IMO. Also takes a lot of investment to really use well. Beidou can be used as support with like Favonia's Greatsword. I can see Beidou support being used as a composition with Eula. I can see it. It's possible if you decide to go that route, but I don't think that it's worth to spend your Primos. And then I think like if you're really hunting for Xingqiu's constellations and you want a Eula copy, I think that's the only reason why I would consider it. If you have C6 of all the 4-star units and Eula doesn't really strike you that interesting, I think it's a skip. If you want to be honest, it's a whale banner, right? In order to maximize Eula's damage output, you need to maximize constellations, maximize her weapon choices, grab some Pale Flame Bloodstain pieces. For most F2P and budget players who are looking to progress further into the game, I would recommend the current Zhongli banner for your use of Primo gems. But if all you want is Cryo Supremacy waifu, then by all means, good luck. If that's all you care about and you're like, bro, but I just want dem thighs or dem booba, then, you know, I'll let you do your thing. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the character banner. I think that there's nothing to write home about. If you're FTP budget and you are on the fence, I would say it's a skip. If you really want Eula, good luck. Otherwise, Xingqiu constellations would be the only thing that I think would motivate you if you also want a Eula copy. That's it. That's a character banner. I think it's mostly well focused, right? Like for me, I'm gonna be pulling C6 on her, and you'll be seeing a video on that at some point. Moving on to the weapon banner. This one's a little funky. So I think this is the second time that Aquila Favonia has been on rate up. I think the very first weapon banner in like 1.0 or 1.1 or some shit had Aquila as rate up, but besides that, has never come back on rate up. And we obviously have Song of Broken Pines. We have Eula's quote unquote meant Claymore for her. Both of these, okay, so let's compare with the Claymores that we currently have. Wolf's Gravestone and Skyward Pride versus Song of Broken Pine. If you have Wolf's Gravestone and you are FTP budget player, I do not think it's worth to roll for Broken Pines. I do think that it is a damage boost. The attack speed is really the reason why you would go for Broken Pines, right? When you have the sigils and you proc it, it gives you 12% attack speed at R1. That is a pretty nice steroid to have, but Wolf's Gravestone is a pretty fat stat stick. That's my opinion. If you have Wolf's Gravestone, it is a solid weapon for Eula. The amount of attack percent that you get from this weapon equates pretty closely to Broken Pines. The one thing that you don't get is the attack speed buff. Okay, Aquila Favonia versus Jade Cutter, Summit Shaper, and Skyward Blade. Just pretend Summit Shaper never existed. If you have this weapon, it's a stat stick. Okay, Skyward Blade. I have 7 of them in my inventory, and they're level 1. Moving on. Primordial Jade Cutter. Very, very, very solid weapon. I would say that Primordial Jade Cutter is used in basically every single situation, from DPS sword carries to also supports potentially if you have ER timepiece. I think Aquila Favonia obviously has the highest base attack, right? 674. Primordial Jade Cutter is a 44 base attack, has a lower base attack, but you get a shit ton of crit rate. If I were to advise, if you wanted Aquila Favonia, it'd be either a Gene weapon, or it'd be a physical Kaching weapon, or it'd be an attack transfer Bennett weapon. Those would be the 3 situations. It's also a very nice stat stick and also gives you burst heal, so consider that. But that's for the 5 stars. I mean, if you're a whale, you're gonna do this anyway, right? Let's talk about the 4 stars real quick, because both of these 5-star weapons are strong, but they're not like must-haves. That's my stance on them, right? If you have the corresponding other weapons, it's not worth. Rust, Sacrificial Sword, Sacrificial Fragments, Dragon's Bane, and Rain Slasher. Let's pretend Rain Slasher doesn't exist. Sacrificial Fragments is a very specific weapon that I only advise on Sucrose. So for the purposes of advising it to like F2P budget players, I'm not gonna recommend it. Dragon's Bane is a Hu Tao F2P with Vaporize kind of weapon, which I think is okay. So if you have Hu Tao and Xingqiu, I think if you don't have any characters that you want, this has both of the weapons potentially, right? If you're like a budget player. And I do not recommend rolling on this banner unless you've already been playing this game as an F2P for like 6 to 7 months and you already have all the 5-star characters that you want. If you're a newer player to the game, avoid this completely, please. Don't touch it. It's not worth at all. Rust, physical DPS weapon. Right now, physical DPS is quote unquote stronger than it used to be, right? For this Abyss rotation. So if, for example, if you're running Tartag in floor 12, viable. If you're running physical DPS, Fischl, viable completely. Physical Ganyu. Let's pretend I didn't, I mean, you can, but like, anyways, Sacrificial Sword. This is just for Xingqiu. And honestly, if you've been looking at like my review videos, for example, Sacrificial Sword is best in slot sword for Xingqiu. Because if you do 2 E's and you have 200% plus recharge, it refills his entire Q bar. So that's the reason why Sacrificial is so powerful. Also because his E hits twice, has 2 chances of proccing, because you can see here skill damage is 2 hits. So both of them have like a chance to proc. And the cooldown is longer than his Q cooldown. If you're running Hu Tao Xingqiu, viable. I think like if you're at the end stages of the game and you want better weapons, you don't have these things yet, that's viable. Otherwise, Eula Banner for these weapons. As my general closing thoughts for both of these banners, if you're a budget player that doesn't care about Eula, you skip both of them completely. This is a whale character banner for sure for Eula, and this is a whale weapon banner. That's the target of these banners, right? We already had Zhongli. When I'm recording this video, he's still out. Definitely a better investment of your Primo gems, in my opinion. So if you're F2P budget and you are on the fence about Eula, it's a double skip. But you'll see me pulling 7 Eulas. Sorry, I can't count. And 1 copy of Song of Broken... We'll see. Anyways... Woo! YouTube frogs. I hope that gives you a general recommendation on the new banners that are coming out. Hope you guys enjoyed this small little section. So I think that's going to wrap it up. Good luck if you guys are pulling on Eula. Most of the F2P budget players are aiming hopefully for like a 50-50 on Eula. I don't think anyone would be going for the weapon banner. If you are going for the weapon banner, please be careful because there's no pity. There's no hard pity on that, right? You can't guarantee either of the weapons. But if you are pulling for Eula, good luck to all my YouTube frogs. Really appreciate all the support. And we'll see you for my pull video. All right, see you next time.